The Northwest Department of Health says only 5 families have come forward for the Stilfontein illegal miners identification process. The Deputy Director-General Polaki Mokatsane briefing the media on the progress made thus far following the retrieval of zamas from the Shaft 11 and Margaret shafts in the northwest. At least 78 bodies were recovered from underground, while 2 later died in hospital. Most of the deceased were in the country illegally, making the identification even more difficult. Let's get some background now, and we are joined by the Northwest Health Department spokesperson, Lucas Mothibedi. Mr. Mothibedi, good afternoon to you, and thank you very much for your time. Just explain to us the difficulty in trying to get the families of the deceased to come forward and identify their loved ones. How difficult is this process proving?
Thank you very much, Koli, and good afternoon to your viewers. As you said, it's quite a difficult, a mammoth task that lies ahead for everyone, especially for us as the Department of Health. You know that most of these people have arrived in the country illegally. Most of them are from Lesotho, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe. So it proves to be a very difficult task. That is why we're actually making a painstaking appeal to all community members. In fact, what we are now going to do, we are going to work closely with the South African Police Services, SAPS, to allow some of those that have been arrested to come forward to assist us in the process of identification. The work that we have done, fingerprint, we have done DNA sampling and photography will play a critical role in assisting in the process of verification and identification of the bodies that we have. But we are comforted by the fact that at least we've got 5 families that have come forward, and we're hoping that as days progresses, we will have more and more and assist us in as far as identifying some of these bodies in our facilities.
Yeah. Before I come back to a point you have just made about those who are arrested and how they can help in this process, talk to us about the tracing, perhaps, that you probably are required to do, tracing families of the deceased. Where do you start?
Well, the starting point is with the South African Police Services. We are actually leading this process because we have identified Stilfontein Police Station as a point of reference. Everyone that would have to come to our facilities has to start there. You know that we have to deal with a lot of documentation. What we are trying to do as the department, and of course with the police, we are trying to avoid a situation where people will then take chances and try to claim bodies that do not belong to them. So it's quite a meticulous process that we are undertaking, and we will be having campaigns, both on social media, on mainstream media, and everywhere, where we're encouraging our people to assist in the process of verification. But of course, we are going to work closely with our counterparts, our National Department of International Relations, the Department of Home Affairs, which are really helping in assisting in verification of these bodies. It would have been much easier for us if we were to find them in our database, where we'd then be able to trace where they come from or where they've been, with the school that they attended. But as is, it proved to be quite a very difficult task. You'd appreciate the fact that some of these bodies were in an advanced state of decomposition.
Yeah.
So it's quite a difficult task, but one that is not insurmountable.
Exactly, because once a body has begun decomposing, it means then a DNA will have to get involved. And so without family members, that becomes even more difficult. Talk to us about the help, though, that you think those that are arrested can help bring to this process.
Well, we must admit that most of these, those that have been arrested, they've been with them for quite some time underground, right at the belly of the earth. Some of them are countrymen, they're coming from same places, same areas, or sometimes it's not even about coming from the same place, it's about knowing, just a reference to say, I know Koli from Pakasdrai in Mokopa in the northwest, that will assist, because it would mean that we would then activate all mechanisms in place that are assisting us in tracing all those that are searching for their families. But we are going to rely entirely, because some of those that we have, we've got some clothing items, we've got some tattoos, we've got all other methods of identification, because they've been with them on the ground and we rely on them. But we are not limiting our systems only on those that have been arrested. We are going to work closely with the communities, because some of these people have been in Stilfontein and Klerksdorp areas, the entire gold belt in Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. So those that have been with them, because they're demarcating that they've been staying in that area before they even went underground, some of them at least. So we are going to use the community members to also assist us in as far as tracing them. And as is the tracing team has been established and is working around the clock to assist in the process of verification and identification of some of these bodies. From 80, at least we are left with 75, and we are hopeful that that number will then dwindle as the days progresses.
Yeah. As a final question, Lucas, and briefly if you can, perhaps this could be one of those platforms where a family member could be watching us talk right now. So if they were to travel to the Northwest to identify their loved one, where are the bodies being kept? Is it in one facility? And if so, where specifically in the Northwest Province?
Thank you, Chloe, for that question. For everyone that is watching this at home or abroad, we are making that appeal that they should attend to this issue expeditiously. The first point is to go to Stilfontein Police Station, where we've got designated police officials that will assist in as far as documentation is concerned. Once they are satisfied with the process, they will then direct us to our facility. We have started, we've used Klerksdorp Tshepong Hospital, which is a stone thrown away from where they've been extracted from. So that will assist in as far as logistics, accommodation, and traveling is concerned. But we must emphasize this, Toli, which is very important. It does not mean that if a family comes to us and identifies the body, we would then automatically or immediately release the body. There are processes that are taking place. Remember, the circumstances around this death are still a subject of police investigation. So there were allegations of some of them having been killed underground. So if police are not satisfied with their investigation, we'll then rely on them to certify whether the body must be released or not. So we must caution our families so that when they arrive and do not find that assistance, they should not really think that we are not releasing the body. So that frustration then will then trigger it. The processes are taking place. Remember that these are police investigations that are currently underway, and really we would want to get into the bottom of this to understand how they died or what could have been the result of their death. So it's important that we put that across so that our people are able to acquaint themselves with all this information needed.
Lucas Mothibedi, the spokesperson of the Health Department in the Northwest, thank you very much for your time.